more.
Yep. Yep. All right, guys. I've got John and Wendy Price sitting with me today from Century 21. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
Appreciate you guys. Now, let's go for the basic first question. Wendy, how long have you been in the real estate business? I know.
It's a long time.
You got a number?
1995.
Ooh, well, we were 4.
Yep.
Daryl and I were 4.
I thought you would
pretty
like
sure.
it that way.
Oh, what made you get started back then?
Kind of interesting. My parents owned a shop in a little strip mall. And when I was in high school, I was working there quite often when the landlord would come and collect rent. And the landlord kept telling my parents that I needed to be in real estate. So ever since I've been in high school, people have been telling me I needed to be in real estate and get my license.
How funny.
So later in life, I think Jacob, my son, was a year and a half or so, and I started going to real estate school in Post Falls. And back then it was live, and you went to a class in the morning on Monday or Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then you could do an afternoon class the same. I did both.
Oh my gosh.
And so I double timed it.
Mm-hmm.
Took the test when most of the class was ready to take the test. I actually never finished real estate school.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
I wonder what they could do to me now.
I have no idea. What do you mean?
I know, right? I still had 3 classes to go, and he said, all right, fine, you can take the test, but you need to come back and
finish
your
them.
classes. And I only went to one more, and I never finished the other
Well, you
2.
passed the test.
I passed
That's
the test.
like the main point, right?
Yes.
Oh, how funny. And watch them. They're gonna.
Yeah.
We heard down the line.
Right, exactly. We saw on Jenny's rules.
Are they one of your
The
27
viral.
subscribers?
36.
36.
You know, when I'm getting up there.
I think we could get Hatch. Hatch was my teacher then, and a lot of
Wow.
people will recognize that name. So
How funny. And that was in Idaho.
that was in Idaho.
And did you get Washington right away?
Well, I actually got my license when I was in Sandpoint.
Okay.
When we were living in Sandpoint. A lot of people don't realize that. They thought when we moved here in 2000, they thought I got my license then, and that was the beginning of my career when it wasn't.
Right.
I had 5 years behind me in Sandpoint. So when I moved here, we're reciprocal states, so I got to challenge the Washington test.
Nice.
And I did get it right away.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
And so then how long were you an agent? Which company were you with?
Yeah, so kind of interesting. Originally, I was with a company called John L. Scott, and you probably see their building when you go through
Yes.
Spokane there, yeah. And so Sandpoint had a branch, and that's who I joined with. And then quickly after that, they merged with the local Century 21 office. And the broker from the Century 21 office is the one who took over. And then, believe it or not, down here, you guys had Century 21 Osmond Realty. At that same time, Osmonds were kind of introduced to maybe dropping the franchise the same time ours was. They were getting rid of the little franchises and starting a whole new.
Bigger.
Yeah. Didn't totally understand that then, but now I sure do because I can see the whole picture.
Wow.
And you fast forward, and we, through that Century 21 system, I ended up finding Bev Osmond down here, and we bought our house through her. And then eventually here we are, fast forward back to Century 21.
Wow. And you've been with Century your whole career?
No.
Okay.
So that franchise got dropped, and when I moved here,
Yeah.
I went to a small brokerage called Parkview Real Estate.
Okay.
Teresa Kammerer owned it back then. And so I worked out of that. It worked really well for me because my kids were in school. And so it was right there at the high school, and Jake was up at the, Heights. So it was convenient for me
Yeah.
to be a mom too.
Oh, yeah. That's why I like the area that I'm in. It's flexible,
Yeah.
and I can work from wherever there's Wi-Fi.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Couldn't do that back then.
I was going to say, I mean, the difference from then to now, tech-wise, how has that, is that something that you're naturally good at, or have you had to just, trial and error?
A lot of trial and error, but I think I do have some, what do you call them, commonsensical things
Yeah,
with tech.
instincts. I mean, I guess of some sort. Street smarts.
When we started in when I started in real estate, we had a 8.5 by 14 purchase and sale agreement
Oh my
that had
gosh.
4 carbon copies, and you'd flip it over and the general terms were on the back. I actually found one of those in my desk the other day. It's pretty
Really?
funny to
Oh,
look back at
wow.
how simple it was, and now we have 30 pages to
Oh,
an
yeah.
agreement
And then
sometimes.
e-sign
Yeah.
and oh gosh,
Yep.
that's fantastic. So John, let's talk about your little endeavor recently that you've done. Big announcement.
Talk about it.
You want,
What
you want to talk about it.
you want to ask me?
What happened? What was
What
this big
happened? So,
endeavor?
well, recently I did retire from the Odom Corporation, which is a wholesale beverage company, and I've been in that arena for about 32 years. And recently, we've talked about it over the years numerous times about if it would be good for me to enter the real estate business with Wendy. But, I just don't think we were ready at that point. And I just kind of woke up a few months ago and was just really starting to drag with the beverage business. I loved it. I love it still, but I'm just getting tired and
Mm,
looking for a change and feel like I'm still young enough to make a change and make a difference. And, it's over the last 5 years or so, it's been a struggle with employees and consistency. And so it just made sense for me to join with Wendy in the office. And I'm starting out in the property management side of things. And it's just a big learning thing for me. I'm every day, my
something.
head's kind of swimming right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that's, too daunting for me, but there's just a lot of things going on and
Yeah.
a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
And, with laws and different things that, come with that, that's what I'm learning. I'm kind of a doer. So if somebody asks me to do something or call
Hands
somebody,
on.
yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
And I got to sit back and think about, what the laws are and what
Oh,
I
yeah.
can do. And, you have to get permissions to enter properties or go places and, see people. And I've got to ask those questions. And I'm used to just going and doing it, knocking on the door,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't do that. So
Mm-mm.
I think it's great. I'm enjoying it. Days are flying by. Uh, your mother-in-law, she's been,
Yes.
she's my teacher.
Good.
I'm thanking her every day. And, she's a wealth of knowledge and her patience,
Very much.
which I'm sure you know.
I definitely know. She's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure at work she's got a little bit more
Oh,
strict.
when she, means something, but
Yeah.
she has a way to deliver,
Oh, good.
and it's great. So,
Good. What a cool new experience that you're going through.
oh yeah, I feel like, my mind is opened up and I'm learning new things, and I felt pretty stale doing what I
Yeah.
was doing. I wake
Sure.
up every morning and drive to my routes and do my things and end my day, and it was
It's
kind of,
more very muscle memory.
yeah,
Like you just
yeah. Well,
in that
I'm always
cycle.
driving around in Wendy's. Where are you going?
Yeah.
I took a wrong turn because I just have that muscle memory, and
Going those
and
routes and
yeah,
oh wow.
yeah.
Well, that's so cool now that you're in the office together.
Oh, it's great.
Get to spend more time together.
Oh, just what we wanted.
Did you ever get that when she'd come home and maybe vent about work? Did you like understand it or now, are you more in the lingo, more in the
Well, yeah, I would say yes, I'm more as being closer to it. It's still early. I just retired 2 weeks ago. And, right now, things are coming at me so fast that there's not a lot of thinking about that kind of stuff. But, I have been licensed in Idaho for real estate for
Jeez, I don't even know.
10 plus years at least
Really? You
now,
took your test back
a
then?
long time ago. And
Considered doing it, but never pursued it?
me,
Yeah.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
So you can't talk about real estate if you're not licensed on behalf of other people.
I
True.
might need that beer.
So it was either go get your license or zip it.
Really?
'Cause
Oh
you're
gosh.
around it, so you
It's
know what's
true.
going on, but you can't talk about
Compliance.
it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I totally understand that. So,
Well, Wendy's great too. She shares those things with me. So even though I've only been licensed for, 10 years or whatever it is, I've always been involved with the business.
oh good.
We started it together, we talked about it together, we came up with a plan together. And I've always been involved on the peripheral and
Mhm.
have always been involved in relationships with the realtors in our office and what's going on, remodels, all those kind of things. So I've always felt involved in part of it. And so I do know a lot of the lingo. I know a lot of the affiliates. I know a lot of what's going on.
Oh, good.
Now it's just, putting it all together on an everyday basis
Yeah.
and then actually helping make those final decisions with people in the office, where a lot of it's been at home and us talking
Mhm.
about things on the side and so forth. So just another added resource for Wendy in the office to bounce things off of, and
Love that.
someone is going to be there every day and help.
Yeah. And you guys get to spend more time together. And, my mother-in-law and father-in-law will eventually want to retire at the same time, and be able to and do stuff together. So it's super nice that you guys at least get to be now and work together.
Oh yeah.
So fun.
It's like 6 years earlier because, I mean, really, he probably had another 6 years in the beverage industry.
Sure.
And like you said, if you don't do it now, though, are you going to do it 6 years from now?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Right. Especially if you were hitting that wall of just that everyday same thing, muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
This area of real estate or just any, it's always something different. I'm sure in the renting part with the property. How long have you guys done the management side into the business?
The property management's been since 2013, so 10 years.
10 years. And seeing things how they are now, what is your kind of insight of I always like to talk that what's going on right now in our market, blah, 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 but rent prices, how do you feel those are affecting our local people, and maybe people buying up some properties that are investors from other states that, don't even know our area well? How is that affecting your guys' current renters?
I think the rent prices are really hard on everybody right now. One thing they have to understand is for that owner, for that landlord, the costs have just gone up astronomically, including taxes, and and it has to be transferred, right? Because it's an investment, so it has to be transferred, and the only place to transfer it is to the tenant. And hence our whole economy has changed. We talked about it at the office meeting this morning, how people, they think they can't afford that home payment, and then they try to rent and they come right back to us and they're like, we'll do it now.
Yeah.
Because the payment is a couple $100 difference.
Oh, yeah.
And either you're building equity or you're paying somebody else's equity. So
For sure.
a lot of education right now, a lot. And you have to look at everything individually. Every
sure.
deal is different.
And different people's scenarios. And we were talking about it in our office meeting today too, of stuff that with outsiders increasing pricing, but it's like our area is such a different, it's not nationwide numbers that we can look at and compare. Ours are so much different.
And this is the first time in 45 years we've had this happen to us, right? The price increase. And it's here to stay. Everybody should know it's not going away. It will fluctuate a little bit, just like it always has.
These
But
people,
we're stuck.
oh yeah, all these people are, kind of stepping back and just saying, oh, I'm going to wait. And it's like, how long can you wait?
Yep.
Yeah, we may see some relief, but it's not going to be, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago rates and things like that. So, it's hard for everybody. It's just something we got to work through and do our best at. And yeah, you do have people coming from out of the area because, there are people in larger cities and other areas, that are struggling. They're selling their assets in those communities and looking to get out to smaller areas or, a little close knit or, what you may have, but they're coming back here and reinvesting. And, so there is some changes with that, but I think it's the same owner that owned that property before, he's going to be experiencing the same taxes and the same issues and things that a lot of people are, and they're going to be adjusting their rates and they're going to be looking at, what's going on in the market as a whole. And, they're going to be, if a 2-bedroom, 2-bath down the street's getting a certain price and it looks to be similar to theirs, they're going to be looking to get that price. And it's, the amount of money that they put in investments and keeping their properties running and looking nice, it's expensive. Everybody's experiencing the cost of building and
inflation.
Even, getting painters or landscapers or drywallers or anybody is difficult and the costs are up. and those costs get passed down. And
Processes are different too. People
sure.
charge now for bids.
Oh yeah, for
Getting
sure.
3 bids nowadays is tough.
Mm,
well, getting one bid is tough. And you get a lot of vendors that they won't do bids.
hmm
really?
They want to see a picture or they want the job. And, so our hands
Or
are tied in some way.
those drive by, whatever they're called, where they just
Yeah,
look from
kind
the
of.
road, and oh, what
And
a
some of them are really good at it and they can
yeah,
do it. But, they're so busy and there's so many opportunities for them that they're not going to feel like they're wasting time to go do a bid when they can go do this job right
for
now.
sure.
So convincing and having relationships with your homeowners and trusting your judgments and things like that.
Educating them.
Yeah.
That's where John comes in.
And that's
Oh, good.
kind of where, one of the things I'm doing. It's, one of my goals is to, if I can't meet them personally because maybe they're out of the area, is to, make sure I'm talking to them, text, email, whatever it takes.
Something.
But let them know that I'm here and I'm working for them and we're doing what we can and working together. So
That's great.
yeah.
And they can ask any questions, reach out to you, and that's awesome to have that.
John's really good at building relationships with his clients. I mean, the vendors that he had all those years, they're very sad right now that he's out of the beverage
bet.
industry. Yeah.
But now you get to use your skill in another area. It's perfect. How many properties do you guys manage, I guess? Do you know the number?
I don't know the exact number of properties off
About
the top of my
200
head.
doors.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it's quite a bit.
It's a little over 200 units or doors that we manage right now.
Wow.
So in the whole scope of things, it's, we're not a big property management company at this point. But we're just trying to take care of the people we have.
Sure.
And if we are able to get more properties, if we can build those relationships and grow things organically, that's great.
This is just, kind of a question. Would someone coming in and building more options of like apartments or duplexes, or more renting kind of houses, would that help some of that? People looking for places or, more renting options?
Are you talking about so prices maybe going down if there's more competition?
Yeah.
It seems to me right now, and again, I'm very new to it, so I'm learning, but it seems like there's more renters than properties available right now.
Right.
So depending on what type of property they're coming in, if they're going to build a large complex, that might relieve some of that. It could, but it also could go the other way. You have some people that come in and build a big apartment complex, and maybe they have deep pockets and they know that it's tough and that whatever, they may come up with a set rate that's a little higher than what you might expect. It's hard to say. It's all up to the individual, the investor.
Yeah. The old Civic Theater, someone was saying like, oh, but you'd have to gut the whole thing. It is a very cool location. I was like, well, there's hardly any parking, but if we could get any more places that could do more, but then like you said, it could flush it the other way. It would be not so
parking
good.
would be a tough one in there. That'd be a great building
I
for
think it'd be really cool.
something like a McMinimans or something like
Oh,
that out of
yeah.
Oregon, some kind of retail type of space
That
or
would be
something.
cool.
But I don't know if that's the right location for it. But
It's got to get all, condemned. Is that the whole building itself or just the inside? I don't know what
well, there's some structural issues there, and I think it does pertain to the whole building.
Hmm.
Right now I think it's in a holding pattern, but
Hmm.
it's a
Cool.
big nut for people to crack to reinvest to get that place going.
For
So,
sure. Wendy,
Hey, baby.
hey, let's talk about what a broker is.
What is a broker?
What is a broker? What does it entail? What's the difference between a real estate agent and a
Well,
broker?
To be honest, a broker nowadays in the state of Washington is your agent. You're-
Okay.
And in Washington, I'm a designated broker. They also have a managing broker who would be educated the same as I am, but not in the capacity that I am. They might manage an office or something, but not maybe be the final say person. And Idaho hasn't gotten there yet. Most of our states have changed to calling agents brokers, but now Idaho's not quite there. But as a designated broker, man, do I have moments.
Oh, gosh.
It's not real often because I'm so busy. I just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But I have surreal moments where all of a sudden I'll sit there and be like, how did I get responsible for all of this? What did I do? And then John talks me off the ledge.
Right.
It's
I'm
okay.
sure. And it's always different scenarios, I'm
It is.
sure.
Yep.
Nothing two is the same.
And it's usually no one thing that does it. It's just all of a sudden
Combined
you feel the
collection.
weight. It's like,
Uh-huh.
holy cow, what did I do?
What year did you go for the broker part of the test and everything?
Sure, that must have been like 2004 or 5, because we opened the independent office in Clarkston in 2005, so it must have been 2004. And really, that was just a night drinking in the hot tub. Decided I
No
wanted a
way.
designation
Oh,
behind my
love
name.
it. Oh, how
And
fun.
through the night, he's like, how much does it cost to get a designation? I said, well, your broker's license probably costs $1,000 or so. All right, that's what we're doing. Next day, started doing
No
it.
way.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. And the difference, maybe, I don't know if this is just a question, just out of my curiosity. What was the biggest hurdle with that? You know, since you started as an agent, went to the broker, what was something that was maybe the biggest hurdle?
Taking that leap,
I-
just doing it.
Maybe just doing it. But
Yeah.
honestly, none of it was really hard because we did it together. You
That's
know,
true.
he's always been there for me. He's always supported or helped think of ways to do things. And here we are. It
Wow.
wasn't just me.
And are you only in the Lewiston office or do you go to the Clarkston?
We work out of the Lewiston
Okay.
office mostly. Yep.
Okay. Very cool. And with that, you know, do you feel with today's market, what are your thoughts of how things are maybe going to go?
So real estate goes in 5 to 7 year spurts, the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in
You've been
3
in it all.
buyers markets, and
Mm.
yeah, I've been through it all. So I know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably more mentally prepared for it than anybody
Mm-hmm.
because I have done it for so long. But it is going to change for a little bit. And we got a year and a half of this. We're going into an election year, and it's kind of an ugly one.
Mhm.
There's no standout anything. So we don't know what's going to happen. And election years, people kind of slow down a little bit and wait to see what's going to happen.
Mm.
So we'll see.
Mhm.
We will see.
Curious.
People still have to move, though.
They do.
So here we are.
I know we were going over our, numbers and stuff, and what was, I think, maybe what you would think is like the worst it's ever been. Is it now? Was it in 2008
It was more back then.
and more back then?
Yeah, I think it hit everybody pretty hard. They weren't expecting it the way and how bad it got.
Mm,
That was probably the
so
worst
fast.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, we were 4 or 5 years into starting our business, so that first one was tougher for us.
Mm-hmm.
A little more experience now, been in the business a little bit longer, so a little more prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what happened was we pulled a big card.
During that time.
That was a
Bought Century 21 out.
That was
Merged our
it.
offices.
Really?
Who does that?
Wow, I didn't know that was the year that you guys did that.
Yeah, we were 2010 was everything was done. And,
Finalized.
yep. And,
Wow.
But that was who does that? Who
Yeah.
gets bigger and crazier
Yeah.
during a scary time,
For
a
sure.
downtime, We did
But
it.
they
though.
say that's when you need to take those risks and do those things.
And actually, I asked, of course, I had to be interviewed by corporate and various people. And later I went back and asked, how, why? I don't get it. I mean, this is going to really hit home to you. But at that time, I had a 528 credit score because so much of that, everything from our independent office and the agents not being able to pay their bills, guess who gets to pay them? And then you're continually paying your monthly bills as well.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get away from that. And so all of that added up and drives your score down, as you know.
Mhm.
And so when corporate called me, I knew they were calling me about that.
Right. They do. They pull your credit. They do all that stuff.
Yep. And we were at a conference or something, and I'm talking on the phone to him outside, and I come back in, and I just remember looking at John and going, he's like, "We're done, huh?" I'm like, I think they're going to do this. I don't get it, but I think they're going to do this. and
Wow.
they gave us the franchise rights. And later, I asked the BC
Why?
why, because literally we met him in Coeur d'Alene. He got off a plane, come over. I think he was probably there for 10 minutes and gone.
That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
He goes, sometimes you just know.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, thank you. I guess.
That's not the answer.
It's been a
but
good
that's-
ride.
Yeah. I mean, look at you guys
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
and how many people I've gotten to interview that have your name's been mentioned.
I know.
You know, so many people look up to you and mentor. Do you feel like you're a mentor in a way?
You know, I thought about that a little bit. And I went back and I looked. I have this deal in my email, mostly file folders, and they're of all the agents that have ever been with me, staff that have ever been with. There's over 100 people that I have employed in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
That was a surreal moment.
For sure.
Like really crazy because people retire, they move on, they
Yeah.
move out of the area. There's all kinds of things that happen, you know. But
Mhm.
when I really look through how many people are still here in the valley that have been with me at some point, it's pretty crazy. It's kind of cool,
It
really.
is
You
so
know?
cool. I
Yeah.
felt like it was very much a mentor type of moment when they talk about you in here and even outside of here. It's just like, oh, we love them. We
Yeah.
love John and Wendy. We love
That's nice.
how many years they were, with you and how you would go and have an open door for anybody to ask questions to. So it definitely was that mentor.
And
So I
that's
don't know if you've
if you were
accepted that, but
if you would have asked the broker question, more of how do I broker differently than others?
yeah,
I'm in the office every day.
is that what it, yeah.
I'm there side by side with them. I don't compete. If I accidentally sell one or two things a year, it's because I probably know the person or they,
Mhm.
request that I have to do it, or it's family, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm there in the trenches with them every single day. That's what I do.
Guidance.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. John, and you've gotten to see, Wendy's career, and now that you're into it, what's your guys' goal, I guess? Do you have any, I mean, like you said, you retired a couple of weeks ago. What are some long-term goals that maybe you guys have that you're able to share?
I'm not sure we have any long-term goals like a set, in so many years or some point in our life,
Sure.
this is what we want to do.
Sure.
I think we both enjoy working. We both enjoy the business. We enjoy the people. We're healthy. What are we going to do? I mean, we're not ready to ride off into the sunset and things like that. I'm only 56 years old, so I think I got some more years to go before that comes.
Definitely.
So, going back to what you were talking to Wendy about, I wanted to say one of the things I'm proudest of is seeing all these people that have gone on and done different things, whether it's staying in the business or moving on and starting their own businesses, but opening up their own offices, moving, doing things.
Mhm.
And I think a big reason why they feel comfortable doing that is some of the training that they've gotten and time that they've spent, with Wendy. And, though it's hard when you see people move on
Mhm.
and there's relationships that we've built we've seen families, all their children be born. We've seen them be married. We've seen their children have children and might even have seen their children's children have children now. So those things are all very important to us. And it's one of the things we love about the business. So that's, something that's very proud. As far as where we see ourselves going, we're going to work for another 10, 12, 15, 17, 20 years, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and who's to say that if something doesn't come along in that time where, there's an opportunity to make a change,
Mhm.
we listen to everything.
Taking
You
into
know, well, you
consideration
gotta
things.
know
Yeah.
what's going on, and when you listen
Mhm.
to people that, you learn things, whether or not that's what you want to do or not. People, bring things to you that you didn't think of, so, we're always going to listen to those things, but, we live here, our families are here, we just built a house here, we're not going anywhere, and we're not really that type anyway. We don't take long vacations out of the country. We don't, we do enjoy traveling and going other places,
Mhm.
but we're really Northwest people. We play in the mountains, on the lakes, on the rivers, on the snow. And for us, it's great to go 2 or 3 hours in any direction and go
Oh,
do
I
those
know.
things.
I know.
So,
We're seeing so many people coming in from out of town. Are you guys noticing this as well? Out of town coming in more?
Watching them go right back out too.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Or
I've
we're
seen it.
helping them go right back out because
Yeah.
they're not finding what they thought they could find. The
Mm-hmm.
scare from wherever they were, it didn't change moving. It's the same everywhere.
Same. The world's still the same, and for
Well,
sure.
you got some people that think they can adapt to smaller life and smaller towns or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and they're coming out of Portland, Seattle, New York City, wherever it is. And, it's all great when they first get here and they're on vacation in these places. But for some of them, reality strikes after they're here for a while, and some of the things that they're used to doing, it's hard for them to go to the opera, or it's hard to go certain things. And,
Mm-hmm.
weather, maybe they visited in the summertime or whatever it may be. And, they bought a place in Pierce and they don't realize what it's going to be like in
Snow.
January.
Yep.
So, those things happen.
Right.
And then we see people coming in, they're moving, especially a lot of these big cities around the Northwest that, are making it really tough. Seattle, Portland,
Mm-hmm.
Northern California, those people are close to us. And so they're trying to get out of cities that, aren't doing so well. And they come to places like this and we get complacent. We live here every day and, you drive
Or
around and
adapted.
you see things and you're like, oh, that looks terrible. This needs to be cleaned up or whatever it is. But those people coming from these big cities, this place is great.
Mm-hmm.
This place is beautiful. And so they come and they stay. And some leave, some stay.
Mm.
It's just a cycle.
Yeah. We driving through Boise and stuff, you see all those like houses being built, and then, maybe it's just getting too full for them down there. And then you start seeing them coming here,
Mhm.
Coeur d'Alene, and
A lot of empty houses now.
I know. But
Yeah,
then,
all those subdivisions along the highway there, it's just crazy.
it's great. And but then when you get to ours, like I said, our area is such its own thing. You can't look at nationwide numbers.
No,
You can't look at anything.
We're on
It's-
an island.
John
We're
says
our
we're
own
on an
little
island.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you teach people? I mean, maybe that come in that are your clients or renters, like this is how it is. Do you give them that kind of insight if they're struggling?
Sometimes you can't. They have to experience themselves. You can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. We're
Yeah.
here when they want to sell too. And
Sure.
yeah.
The mentor side, or I don't know. Have you ever done any guidance classes? Do you do any of that?
I don't have any like credited type teaching things or
Uh-huh.
anything. I have done the orientation for our local association for a year or so. Sounds like I might have to help with that again here pretty soon.
Are you on the board?
Always.
Always. You're at the front of the seat there in the
I
the
do
front,
like to be
so.
involved, yes. And I need to work on it for 2024, but on my signature, I always put what I'm involved with that year because that's the only way I can remember.
Oh gosh.
The list kind of gets big
I'm
sometimes,
sure. I'm
So,
sure.
but I do try to volunteer at the local Lewis Association of Realtors, and I also volunteer at the state level,
Oh,
usually on
wow.
a committee or something.
Yeah.
If I'm not a state representative for our association, because I did that for many years too. I like to offer it to everybody else first because I've done it so many times,
Sure.
and then if they don't do it,
Then you
I'll
guys step in.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
What does that entail? Do you like coordinate the tours? What's that all entail for you, I guess?
a couple meetings a month, maybe getting on a subcommittee to help read bylaws and
Mm,
go through things. Or
mhm.
one thing that I haven't had to do for quite a while because we've got some really good people involved is like our RPAC committee when we're raising money, golf tournament,
Yes.
chili feed, those kind of things. I get
Yes.
to participate in those. I don't help with those anymore. I do more
Participate.
background stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's fun.
yeah.
I did the golf tournament this year, and I don't really golf much, but
Yeah.
I'm getting slowly back into it.
You're
But,
probably finding you don't have to golf much to be in that
oh
tournament.
no, I still have fun.
And it's always open to everybody, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yes, and I don't think anybody really knows that.
We're raising money. We'll take your money.
Do you,
Sounds like you need to be on that committee.
you know what? For the golf thing,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
I already
yeah.
have a lot on my plate. I don't
Yeah.
know if I can handle
Hey, I
another.
can hook you up.
You could. That's funny. Oh gosh, I had one right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I'll find it. Hold on.
I'll be here.
I'll try. Yeah, you're here. We still have some wine.
How old are you? You can't forget things like that. That's my job.
I just had my birthday on Monday.
Yes,
I'm
happy
32.
birthday. Cheers
Thank
to that.
you.
Let's cheers to
Thank
that.
you. I'm
Happy
32.
birthday.
It's a young,
I like it.
I do
young.
feel young. Mentally, I feel young. Physically, yeah, I could
Well,
lose a couple of years there.
You got a long ways to go, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy was about your age when we embarked on this journey.
Right. And I think officially I passed my test the year that last year. No, I was 31. I was like, I think I wanted to go into the business at 30. And then,
You were like right there.
yep, right on the cusp. But then
Good.
again, like I started at a very bad time.
Mm-hmm.
I passed my test, and then that in July, and then that August is when rates started
Yeah.
skyrocketing. So I feel like this is now my normal. When you get new brokers, or not brokers, but new agents into the office, how do you teach them through the bad?
Mm-hmm.
What are some advice that you give?
Honestly, we do it together. That's the one thing that usually is most of the time good about our office is everybody is willing to help each other out,
Oh, that's good.
or at least most people are.
Mhm.
And when you can lean on the senior agents to help you go, you know what, this is how you're going to do this, and we're going to get through it just fine. It really helps because it backs me up, right, with
Mhm.
everything I say. But a lot of teaching what's going to happen, what to be prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly like reminding people about stuff. They probably get annoyed with me, but all right, your
No.
taxes are due. This is coming up. Make sure you do this.
Uh-huh.
And it's as a group and individually both. Right now, I'm on everybody about education.
Oh, continuing education.
Can't let that
I
license slip.
just got I qualified for my state ones that I had to do, and I haven't started it yet, but I hate it.
Get her done, girl.
Do you try to do stuff outside, like not online or like personal classes? Do you do anything with like the corporate?
Yeah, we do some of the corporate ones.
Mhm.
Obviously, any of the agents can do that individually. It's just part of what they get with Century 21. Sometimes we do them together as a group, and sometimes
Nice.
we bring in like some speakers that they have and
That
do.
can qualify it for?
Yeah, maybe
good.
they're expert at something, and we'll bring them in to talk about it. And sometimes we'll do outside too,
Oh, good.
outside of Century 21.
Mm-hmm.
But I find a lot of information, or I should say, information finds me a lot because when you're a designated broker, they send it all to you.
I'm sure.
And so, yeah, I'm always educating them a lot on just the industry and what's going on. And like January 1, Washington forms are changing, laws are changing.
Mhm.
Everything that we do in Washington is going to look very different.
Mm.
That would freak people out if they waited till January 1 to find that out. So
Right.
I get on them right now and let them know about things. So,
Preparing.
yeah.
I feel like you would be very good at like the teacher. That you have that mentor side. I feel like you'd be such a good.
Go in that direction.
You, oh,
Just
you
got to
should.
get somebody trained first.
I think she does that every day, though. Just
I-
what her duties
Yeah,
are.
for
you know,
sure.
it-
It's your natural side of you.
Going through this time period, we're preaching basics. We're preaching consistency.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we were telling people from the very beginning. Taking care of your sphere of influence, communicating, contacting,
Rub belly.
reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get through these times. Not sitting back and waiting.
No.
You got to be talking to people. You got to be relevant. And
That's
so those are the things we're teaching them through these times,
Yeah.
or preaching.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when the times are good and you're still preaching those things, sometimes people are like, but now's the time. Those things that we were talking about before, it's consistency.
that really resonates because again, I started this. I felt introducing myself to realtors who are my most referral based people, and how many have been in the industry for so long that just they already know it works.
Mhm.
They don't really want to why get bored by a text or coffee, So I want this as a form of introducing
Mhm.
and knowing more about them and changing the way, how you want to speak to someone or a difference. And everyone, was like, why are you doing this? It's like, well, I don't know, but I know.
Yeah.
Know it'll increase, some relationships and all that. But for you guys to want to be on here, seriously,
Wait, I got drugged down here.
I know you
I got
did.
told by your
You
mother-in-law,
did.
"Keep going."
She texted me and goes, they're on their way. I was like, okay. I know. Well, and it's so exciting, John, to hear your new experience, but kind of not new in a way. You like already know a bunch, but to see where you go, you also have kind of mentor type feel about how you talk and what you say and with your renters and all that, being able to come to you for questions and all that. It's fantastic.
Like most things, they're relationship built,
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're selling cars or pizzas or insurance or mortgages,
Drinks.
Yeah.
drinks. It's about relationships
Yeah.
and, connecting with people
Mm-hmm.
and, honesty. I think that, that shows through,
Oh, yes.
values, morals, and I think that one thing sometimes it's tough, but, Wendy we're going to do things right. And sometimes it's easier to do things not quite right.
Have to
Uh,
make yourself look good or,
or just because it's an easier path.
Yeah.
Sometimes doing things right takes a little more work.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that changes. People try to take those paths, and
For
I think
sure.
one thing Wendy's been consistent on is doing things right.
And the
So,
consistency of your name being brought up in this room has been a lot, which is,
oh, that's great to
it
hear.
shows a lot.
I'm
great
a
to hear.
golden rule girl.
Do you
Century
like,
21 is golden rule,
Yeah.
all about it. Do unto others as you'd have done unto you.
do you like to go up to the corporate stuff and be involved with the corporate?
You learn so much.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yes.
You get to go up there. Do you do any of the yearly events that they have
Yeah, we usually go to
cool.
a convention every spring.
every spring?
Yep.
Which one was this year?
Florida, Orlando.
And guest speakers, have you ever been a guest speaker? Oh,
Not on the main stage. We did have one agent do that one time.
Really?
And I've done background things, but nothing. I haven't been on the main stage, no.
good. What'd you
Probably
do?
not. I think I would, of course, if they asked me, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to go volunteer. Probably it's not really my thing. I don't know.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
I think how much you bring to the table of knowledge and experience. I would sign up right away.
One of the things that didn't get touched on when he was talking,
I'm looking for my pen
in every
to sign you up.
Right.
I don't have a pen either.
Every year, and right now, this is the time of year, I'll start getting with all the agents and we go over goals.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I really, obviously, I can't require it, they're independent contractors, but I really hard request that they be involved in something community. And I just have not had to push that in the last year. They're just
Really?
already there. They're already involved in something. And so add a little to it, maybe sometimes if they can afford it to
Yeah.
give a little more of their time. But I think that's one of the biggest things I'm proud of is our community involvement. And
Mhm.
actually, we have an agent up for the state award. Actually,
Really?
the Good Neighbor Award that
Yeah.
Idaho has.
Yeah.
Joyce Kiefer was nominated, and
Oh,
she's one of the
wow.
20 nominees that are up for the award. So
That's fantastic.
we'll find out in a week or two.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool to know. Like
Somebody local, yeah,
Yes.
who has given back to the community like
Oh,
a
yes.
ton. I mean, everybody knows who she is.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
for
know how
sure.
she does it.
I don't
No,
know either.
no. I would love to get her in here to just get some of her knowledge.
Well, if I have trouble getting an agent to get involved in something, hey, Joyce, somebody needs something to do.
She's
She's
on
always
it.
got something.
Oh,
she's
good.
involved in so many things.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, with just how tight our community is and how different, from, like I said, nationwide, it's such a key point to get your face out there, and that's how we get business and referrals and all that. And so I'm definitely trying to do my own little ways of
Sure.
things, but I love that.
Well, if you need help, Joyce and I can help you.
Yes, I might need
We'll
some
sign
insight.
you up and hook you up.
Give me a pen, John.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was when we first started business, and we really didn't know anything. We're pretty young, and um, we're sitting around trying to brainstorm of how do we become relevant. We got Wendy and Joyce and myself,
And we're not in a
and we're
phone book.
starting. Yeah, back then
That was
you
the
had to
phone
be in a
book.
phone book.
Yeah.
So back then it's like, how do we become relevant? There's two of us, and nobody really knows us. Joyce had been out of the area for a few years and was
Mhm.
coming back to town, and it came down to we got to figure out how to give back to the community, let people know we're here for them,
Mhm.
and then hopefully it'll happen organically. And we marketed, we put ourselves out there, but
Sure.
it started to happen for us when we became involved with the community. And we spent a lot of years being involved in numerous fundraising events, and helping Jackson Baldwin, or the parks, or whoever it is. I mean, we've been in a lot of them over the years, and have helped the community raise over the years hundreds of thousands of dollars. And
Sure, there's
when
not
we
even an amount
started
you can do.
sacrificing, I don't want to, it's not sacrificing, but when we started giving our time, our resources, our knowledge, and helping the community, business took off for us.
For
And,
sure.
and it was organic. It wasn't things that we were, beating the street for or begging for. We were actually, volunteering our time, and business was coming to us, and we're like, geez, how do we do both? But we started to grow agent count, and, that
Mhm.
helped. And, resources started to get better. So that helped. And then we just keep going, do what we do.
It just kind of fell into place.
I
Everything.
don't think I should admit this. So what he's kind of talking about is we're on 6th Street. We have nobody knows how to get a hold of us because we just start and the phone books are not coming out yet, right? We put our number on the window, and then Halloween comes around. And I'm like, the area doesn't have a whole lot for Halloween. We might be the founders of 6th Street Trick or Treat.
Oh, no way.
And so what I did was I went around to all the businesses and I said, I will put your name on a flyer that I'm going to hand out to all the kids in the school and schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's several schools. And I will put your name on the radio ad that I have coming out if you will hand candy out from 4 to 6.
Simple.
Yeah, we gave away 185 bags that first year, not realizing
Costco bags of candy.
it was going to be way more than that. Then the next year, the police had to come and ask me to shut the streets down because there were so many people.
Many? Oh my
And
gosh.
I just looked at him with big eyes like, yes, please, I don't know what I'm doing here. Just created a monster a little bit. Well, we went from that 185 people the first time to 500 and some the second time. And then every year after that, we were at like 3,000 people downtown. It was crazy.
Gosh.
And then I got the high school involved. The special ed group puts on a haunted house at the high school, or they used to at the high school. And I was like, man, are they getting people over there? Like, and so I talked to them, and they got a pretty good following of people that came back every year. And I'm like, well, should I mention it? Oh, the line was so long. It was like they didn't know what to do, but all of a sudden they made buku bucks at that school, and people got to go through a really cool haunted house at the school.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a really neat thing. So we just started partnering people, and then it became not just the downtown people, but we had Costco and Weimar when they were here. Other people bringing and setting up on 6th Street just for 6th Street.
All because of a
Then
little flyer.
it got a little out of hand. Then we had to pass it on.
Oh, I love that.
Then we got in a phone book. It was good.
Oh, that's such a good story.
And John here was president of Rockin' on the River for
Oh
like 11
man,
years.
I remember when Puddle of Mud was there. Ah, so fun. I
Yeah,
know.
it was great. We had some great years with that.
Yeah, we did.
sometimes all good things must come to an end, and it's sad to see that happen.
True.
There's some fabulous people involved with that, and
A lot
yeah,
of volunteers. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Was it
work.
all volunteer work?
all volunteer.
Wow. I had no idea.
Not even a director was paid or anything like that. It was all
Just all
volunteer.
volunteer. Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I love that you guys, getting involved and being able to put your name out there. But now you've had your name out there you know, and have done business. And when was your feeling of, how I put it is I'm a youth, I'm a youngin in this realm, and I don't know when I'll feel like, a solid name. When did yours hit in your career?
I don't know that you ever know. I don't know that you ever think that. I mean, if you think you've made it,
For you, I'm going to
you
tell
keep
you,
working.
it takes 3 to 5 years to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working hard, you're going to know in that 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
For us, John calls us doers. We should have invented Home Depot or something because I don't know, we're not necessarily like an Energizer bunny, but we just keep going.
You always have
And
ideas and
yeah, and so even if we thought we were there, we weren't because there was always something more we wanted. So
yeah, I love that. Well, I hope to see more and exciting things with you guys throughout the years. Again, John, Wendy, really appreciate you guys coming on here. I've wasted definitely your guys' time.
No wasted time.
Cheers
None at
to
all.
the new upcoming adventures.